Well, good evening, saints, sinners, believers, unbelievers, whosoever will. Welcome to the Alpha Ministries Relational Power, Relational Empowerment Hour. I've been really excited because this has been planned. This tonight's show, tonight's program class has been planned for over a month now, and I've been excited about it for a long time. We're going to have my friend Linwood Bagby on, and my new friend. Um, Jimena Carrasco. They're going to come on and they're going to join us. They're with Restore Ministries. Linwood and I have been friends for a long time. And, it's funny because Linwood was kind of our chaplain, and he was our chaplain in InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. I had my first spiritual awakening when I was a senior in college. And some of the guys that the InterVarsity people that Linwood trained and oversaw, kind of they were there. They were the new people that encouraged me in my faith. And then Linwood came along, and I got to know him, and he encouraged me because I was a brand new believer, and it was kind of new to me, and it was a journey. And Linwood stuck with us, and then I left college. Um, Lost touch with Linwood for a couple years, and then we both got hired in the Elizabeth School District around the same time. And I was actually in the front office, and I saw his name on a bulletin. We didn't have emails and things back then. This was back in the 1900s. And they said Linwood Bagby got appointed at Cleveland High School, speech pathology. I said, I know that guy. So I called the school, and we arranged to meet. And so we were working together, and we would meet and pray together for our kids and things like that. And Mountainside Gospel Chapel was kind of where all the university kids went. So I was hanging out there, and I was hanging out with Linwood. And then I left Elizabeth and moved to Florida, and through we all had each other's phone numbers. And so Linwood, and I want to tell everybody from New Jersey this, and I'm going to bring Linwood on now real quick. I'm going to tell everybody, hey, Linwood.
Hello there.
I'm going to tell everybody from New Jersey, Linwood is one of the few friends of mine that actually came to visit me here. So Linwood came to see us my first year down here. And then, I don't know, when cell phones came out, you lose your home phone. So we lost touch again. And then I know that social media gets a bad rap, but through the glories of Facebook, I was able to contact Linwood again. And we talked on the phone quite a bit. And then last year, a couple years ago, we were able to meet up in Orlando. Then I saw him this January when we went up to New Jersey. Now, right when I was getting ready to leave Elizabeth, Linwood had started a ministry called Restore, which we'll highlight a little bit later. But I'm going to give Linwood a chance to talk. Linwood, welcome to the show, the podcast, whatever you want to call this. And it's good to see you. And I just wanted you to kind of share with the folks, especially from our side, from Alpha Ministries that may not know you, a little bit about your journey, who you are, and just feel free to share.
Well, I've been very privileged, fortunate. I come from a very small community in South Jersey. And anybody know anything about New Jersey? North Jersey and South Jersey are like two different places. So I come from a really small community in South Jersey called West Deptford. And I grew up on farms and like just open space. And then I moved to Trenton, went to school in Trenton College in New Jersey. And then I went even further north into Elizabeth, where I started working there in 1988. I can't believe that. 1988, working there in 1988. And from there, it's like for a kid who comes from the rural areas of New Jersey, where it's really farmland, and to be placed in a city and working with a community that's so different that I grew up in. I learned so much, and God has just blessed me in the ways that I can't describe. I started Restore in 1994, and a little bit before that, but we incorporated 1994, and it was response to my students, my speech students, as they went into the high school and facing these challenges, the negative stuff, the gangs, the drugs, and wanting someone to talk to and help them through that. So that's how we started with about 5 kids. Should I say more or what?
Yeah, no, so you started with 5 kids, and tell us a little bit what it looks like today.
Okay. It is, I guess the best person to do that, it is right now, it's about 45, 50 kids on our list that we reach out to. And it's a full service. It's an after school program. It went from more of a mentoring one-on-one couple kids to really providing services to a small group of young people. They start at 2nd grade and they go up to the high school. And what we plan on doing, we want them to graduate on time, each of those milestones, from elementary to middle school to high school, graduate on time, and then go into college. We provide tutoring, SAT, college prep, friendship. We're like a second home to the young people. So it's a long term. Like if someone come to us when they're in 2nd or 3rd grade and leave where they're in 12th grade, they really know us and we really know them.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good relationship that we have.
Yeah, I like that approach because for most of my life I was a high school teacher, and I taught at a K-8 school for a while, and teaching there, I watched the kids from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade, and you see all the changes they go through. But I like the fact that it's like a second home, and I think when I talked about it last week when I was getting ready to announce and have you on, I said that you're one of your roles is you're a father to the fatherless, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of kids,
now I've got the gray hairs. I'm a grandfather now.
your grandfather to the fatherless. Just listening to your story, I know that when you left InterVarsity and before you got hired, you moved into the community of Maplewood, New Jersey, right?
Yes.
And you talked about you moved in with an all-white family, and some of the things that you learned there, and how it was a really good experience where you basically learned to love one another, but there was some
Will we
preconceived.
share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I wanted to share about
Okay.
that.
I was working at a place called Children's Day School in Trenton as a student. I was I worked part-time as a student there, a college student, and the teacher, the main teacher, she was when I got the university job, she said that, oh, why don't you come move in with my mom and dad? They have this big house, empty now. You got the whole upstairs. It'd be really great. I said, oh, good. So, because I didn't know anybody when I came to that area, nobody. So then I moved over there, and on the way to the house, going to her house, all packed up, ready to go, she said, "Oh, I didn't mention one thing to my parents." I said, "What's that?" "That you're black." And I said, "Would that make a difference?" She said, "I have no idea because we know she never had any black people in the house and no black friends, so I really don't know. But they're good people." I was so like nervous and just a shock. Like, what did I do? What am I gonna do? So I went to the house. I got introduced to Mr. Metro, fantastic people. And what I noticed is this thing I would notice is that they had the kind of I wouldn't even call it racism. I call it a prejudice that they had towards me was their assumptions about what I liked, what I didn't like, and about me as a person. So even in her best, trying to make me feel comfortable in her home, she would buy me grape soda. She would buy watermelon. She would buy all these things, all these stereotypical stuff. And I would say to I would say to her, Mrs. Metro, I don't want to eat watermelon in front of you. Why? Because I feel like I'm perpetuating the stereotypes. She was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" And then we start talking about, how to get to know each other and how to relate to one another. The one thing that made me upset was she woke up in the middle of the night yelling for her daughter, her college-age daughter, to come downstairs because she thought that we were upstairs messing around.
Yeah.
I was like, why would you think that? You know what I mean? I'm in campus ministry. Why would you that? She said, never mind. And I said, because I'm black, you think all black men are after white women. That's why you thought that. Yeah, that's why you thought that. And she was like, never mind, never mind. And her daughter's like, Mom. So what I learned from that, some of it was fun and funny, some of it was hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
But what I learned from that is the way that we really got through all that stuff. I could have left and said, I don't want to live there anymore, the race, prejudice.
Yeah.
But as I stayed and as we got to know one another and share and found out what we had in common, love, forgiveness happened. And eventually, within a couple of months, I was like part of the family.
Yeah.
Part of the family in every way. When I left, when it was time for me to leave, I stayed there for a couple of years, and her daughters, they said, Linwood, you got to talk to my mom. I said, why? Her husband passed away at that time, and she said she's not going to move because she said, what am I going to do about me? And I was like, yeah, she thinks you're her son now, And I was like, that's okay, don't worry about it. That's between me and her. I was joking with them, but it was that kind of relationship that it was a real love between us. And even to this day, she's in her 90s, and she still sends me birthday cards, Christmas cards. We talk at least once or twice a year, and things like that. So it's been a good, healthy. But at the beginning, it was like, I can't believe it. And even I had my impressions and my prejudice about her and her family. Right. They were, so we had to talk and communicate and get to know each other.
They were Italian?
Yeah, they were real Italian Americans. Real Italian.
When you told me about the watermelon part, I'm thinking, how did that become the stereotype? Because everybody loves watermelon. I grew up on New Jersey summers, watermelon, corn on the cob, all that. So So, and that, like you said, some of it was you could chuckle at, and it's a little bit hurtful. But you also told me about that you lived in that neighborhood. You had the key to the house. It was your house. It was your neighborhood. Yeah. And often you would get stopped and asked if you lived there.
And I found a different type of discrimination that I call racism. Yeah. And now people call it systematic racism. Right. That was more hurtful to me and broke me down more than what the people I lived with could ever have done. Yeah. And it was being followed by the police, coming back home, especially coming from West Deptford from my parents to my new home in Maplewood. I'll stay there till late at night. Goodbye, Mom. And I'll come back real late. Police. As soon as you get into a certain area, the police will follow you. Yeah. One time it was in the daytime, right after work. I parked the car along the side. Was going to go into the house, and they said, "Do you live here?" And I've been there for over a year, I think, or close to a year. And I was just so disgusted. I said, "Should I say anything with these people, interact with them, or just ignore them?" Either way, I don't win. That's how I was feeling. I was just helpless. Because there are people of authority that can do more to me even if I try to reason with them or talk to them.
Yeah. I put myself in your shoes, and I think, I've been teaching now for 36 years. Mm-hmm. And unless I know what it's about, when I'm told the principal needs to see you, I still get a little worried. Right. If I'm driving on the road and there's a police car behind me, I get nervous. So for you to say that, you get stopped more often, or they're going to talk to you in your own house and ask you, anytime that happens, you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. And the thing about it, it's not even just that 1988, okay, but even recently, like 2 years ago. I had this big conversation with
freeze
some
up
friends
on
of
me?
mine. Yeah, big conversation with some friends of mine about being stopped and everything like that. And they were white, from a very white community, and they kept saying, "Oh, you're too sensitive." And the next day, going to work, taking a different route because of the detour, I got stopped by the police. In the morning.
Yeah.
And when I get stopped, what I have to think about, I don't know if you do, I think keep my hands on the wheel, don't reach for anything. If they stop me, then tell them what I'm going to do. I have to do this whole thing in my mind because I don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I think it's different from when somebody like you might get stopped, you might get nervous, you might get a ticket, you might be speeding. I'm thinking, I want to survive this. That's what I'm thinking. Keep your hands on the wheel, be calm, don't reach for anything because you want to reach for your wallet, right? Don't even do that. Just wait till I ask for it and say, I'm getting my wallet is in, but that's the thing. It's just crazy. And this is like just about 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's not something I can say that happened way back then. It doesn't happen again to me. It happens quite often, especially when I get a new car. They don't recognize it.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this your car?
Yep. Or they just don't recognize it. So they got to say, "Do you live here?" And they got to look at it. And I said, "Yes, I live here. I lived here for 15 years. I take the same road, but then I brought a new car. You don't recognize it."
Yeah. Now, Now, when we talked on Tuesday a little bit. You had mentioned, and it caught my ear. You had mentioned that your dad was a foreman, and he was in charge of a lot of people. And I think you said that your pediatrician or your doctor was African American, and you grew up not thinking that you had a lot of like that. You grew up thinking.
I grew West Deptford was white, absolutely, but they had a small black community that had the AME Church, African Methodist Episcopal Church, started, and my grandmother and grandfather and different people in the neighborhood. That's who started that church, and they had little homes that they eventually it's become a neighborhood now. It's integrated now, but it was a neighborhood that was so. I had in front of me African Americans who owned homes, African Americans who were involved in the community, a really strong church presence. My pediatrician was a black doctor, so never thought that you couldn't be a doctor. My father, he did a lot. He faced a lot of racism until I found out about it when I became older. But he was the foreman for the township, first black person foreman for the township. He was the fire marshal, first black person fire marshal. In the area, in the region. Right. So he was the first of a lot, and then a lot of people followed his example. So I grew up not thinking that these things weren't possible. I know to share a story. I just remembered it. One of my father, when he was alive, he would have a barbecue right before school started, and I would invite some kids down for the weekend, and we had a barbecue, stuff like that. And one time, one of the little boys would look out the window almost every day, and he saw all these people leaving, especially these men leaving. And my father, and he said to my dad, "Where are these people going?" He said, "To work. Don't they go to work in your neighborhood?" I said, "Dad, it's different. It's different."
Yeah.
And he never saw so many black people, especially black men, leaving the house, getting into a car, and leaving, and then coming back. He didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
He really didn't know what it was. He said, "Where are they going? What are they doing?" So his reality and what he saw possible in the black community was really different than what I grew up with. I did grow up with racism. I did grow up with prejudice. I did grow up with people not expecting things from me. I did grow up with teachers not expecting me to go to college and all that kind of stuff. But me personally, you see what I mean? Yeah. I knew black businessmen. I knew black people in college from my church. I saw black people own homes. My parents owned a home. Wasn't the best home in the world, but they owned a home.
Yeah.
my grandmother owned her own home.
And it was a crowded home. You have what, 11 brothers and sisters?
Oh yeah, we had a lot.
Yeah.
There was 10 of us. 2 were steps, but we would never know it because my parents were really good at just treating everybody the same.
Yeah.
And then we always had somebody live with us. You know, cousins, other family. If they were down and out, my aunt, she lived with us when she had cancer, you know, and she had a place to stay. We was the place where people lived with us. So even though it was crowded, it never felt like it.
Yeah.
You know, my tell me when I'm talking too much. We had a family reunion on my mother's side, and my cousin, he introduced me to his wife. He said, "Oh, this is the rich family." And I said, "What do you mean rich?" "Yeah, this the rich, the Bagby. They're the rich ones." I said, "We're not rich." He said, "All depends how you talk about it." He said, "We lived in the project." When they said we're going to Aunt Flossie and Junie's and Uncle Junie's house, my mom and dad, they were all happy. It was like getting out of the projects, getting out of Camden, and going there. We're gonna stay overnight. It was like summer camp.
Yeah.
And I said, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Because I would looked at the white community and my white friends who seemed to have more than us and better homes. And we were like the poor. We were down here, like struggling middle class, when they were maybe like a little bit up. But I never thought that my cousins and all, it was a whole different reality for them.
Yeah.
You know, we were the rich people. We were the ones with the house. We were the one with the big yard, and you know, and we could go outside and play till nighttime. We didn't have to worry about bullets and guns and stuff like that, shootings.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's
So all that really helped me to when I came to Elizabeth or wanting to do something. It wasn't in my mind that it couldn't be done.
right.
You know, being on university staff, it wasn't in my mind that I couldn't raise the money. You had to raise money to be on staff. You know, that was the model, and I was able to do that. Once because I lived in the white community, so people understood the varsity and was ready to fund it. And then when I did Restore, you know, who knew that to do such a ministry and have the kind of budget and do what we do, it wasn't in my mind that it couldn't happen. I didn't know how it was going to happen, you know, but I knew that God would make a way.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a different way of thinking that we try to instill into our young people. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna.
Sorry.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you now with Restore. I know that like like the recent upheaval, something similar happened 4 years ago. So is that something that you talk to your kids about and something that is on their minds that they need to talk to you about and your staff about?
What do you mean like
the racism
happening right now, the next couple of months, everything?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I with our alumni, I have a lot of communications like that with them. Kids, I mean, they're not kids anymore. Young adults who are in college now, and they're experiencing more. Imena might be able to tell you more about what's happening with parents. She talks a lot with parents. I think that my young people, I observe that it's such a diverse community, and I don't think that they see that like where I lived, it was me and my friend, and it was obvious that they had a different lifestyle. Okay, where they lived, they had a country club. They had, you know, where I lived, they didn't have that. I think with my young people, they're like this, economic wise, so they don't really see the disparity as much until they get older and start interacting outside of their community. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So I don't get a lot of. I think that even when they are discriminated against, they don't know how to. They don't have the tools to point it out and describe it and verbalize it and what can I do about it?
Right.
that's what we're doing now. Is helping them because of what has happened recently. Everybody has become aware of things, and it's becoming it has come into real time. Because
Yeah.
of the phones and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
now they're saying, "Oh, this is really bad. What am I supposed to do? Does this really happen to me?" And they're beginning to question what they see all the time. You
Right.
see what I mean?
Yeah.
They're beginning to ask those questions now. So we're there to help them to ask the questions and to give them some tools to be able to address it, age appropriate, of course, and what they can do to, even in their young age, to be age changing. Help to change whatever
Mhm.
injustice they see in their
Yeah.
own way, within their own context as children and teenagers.
Mhm. Good. We're gonna bring Jimena on. You mentioned her, and we've been mentioning her, and she's gonna come on for people to see. I know that with Restore, it's a very if you like, I'm gonna put your webpage up in a little bit when we close,
Okay.
um, because I really think it gives a good picture of all the different things you do. I mean, you guys go to the parks, you go swimming, you
It's
have them.
crazy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy what we do. But sometimes I can't believe the stuff that we do. It's just
yeah.
it amazes me, and I'm the one who is orchestrating it. That
Hmm.
it's a really, truly full service ministry. That's why
Yeah,
we concentrate on such a few kids.
yeah,
If we had more staff, we'd be able to expand it. But it really is finding out what their gifts, their talents, their hopes are, and surround them with the resources and people that can help them to grow.
yeah. And one of the reasons I wanted you to come on is my upbringing was. I mean, I grew up at that time in Bricktown, New Jersey.
Hmm.
When I left, we were lily white. We did not have any diversity in our town, and we were on the outskirts. The Pine Barrens. We were the Pine Barrens before that got built up, but behind my house for the longest time there was remnants of the Pine Barrens as far as
Right.
the eye could see. Um, so I didn't have any interaction with Spanish people, African American people, but my parents were wise enough to point out um, if people acted racist or used the N word or anything. So I was taught. So when I went to Kane College, it was very diverse, and it was kind of, I don't know, it was an easy transition for me to be with new and different people. Um, so it was good. Um, but right now, when I see when I talk about my people, I'm talking about white evangelical Americans, right? My people. What I mean by that is, where I came from, I see them getting polarized. I see them getting
Right.
pulled to one side to another. And I don't like that. And likewise, there's people friends that I have, either maybe Hispanic or African American, that might be getting pulled another way. But then there's so many, and the majority of people that I'm friends with and I know are in the center. And since I know a lot of people that are believers in Jesus Christ, and the gospel is first and foremost in their life, we need to come together and we need to look for solutions. And I automatically thought of you, Linwood, because of your ministry, because of your heart, and because I really believe that some of the best programs out there are the grassroots ones that are local, that are hands-on and in the community. And that a lot of times when a charity begins, then they hire people, and then it really exists to support itself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right. Right. Right.
there's information out there about 10 cents to your dollar goes to the actual cause. The rest is for staff and overhead and all that. And so I really wanted to get you on. I really wanted to highlight your ministry, Because you know as well as I do that a lot of um, when people start talking about it, they'll say, well, the problem in America is that kids don't have fathers in the home. That's the problem. Or the problem in America is there's too much divorce, and the kids are getting from one family to another, or they're growing up in single parent households, and it goes on, and it's easy to say that and point out the problem, but you're not cursing the
Well,
dark. You're lighting a
well,
candle.
well, what the research says, what children need, search research. We go a lot by that institution and that place. Children need multiple people, adults in their lives, from very different sections. Children need to be in an organization year after year and signing up, at least 3 years to be there. Then you have influence on them. Children need to believe that if they want something to happen, they can create it. Of course, with the help of the adults, of course, by being involved in organizations and people, that they have the power to make things happen. And I think that's what's missing a lot with the young people that I know of in Elizabeth. They're not in Restore, um, or not in youth organizations. Doesn't have to be Restore. It could be the YMCA, it could be the Boys and Girls Club. Is that if they don't have the support of multiple people in their life, you know, and
Yeah.
and they don't have the support of organizations that can help them to think through and to make good choices, it's very difficult to manage in this world. So if you don't have a father in the household, if you are from a poor community, getting involved with a group like Restore can do multiple can multiply your efforts and your success and your ability to say no to negative things. And that's what the research says. Those are the things that helps kids, regardless of their situation. It makes them resilient. They can bounce back.
Yes.
From hard things. And that's what we really, really want them to know, that the best thing they can do is become good students. If we can get them in their minds and get them really getting good grades from the beginning, they want to keep that.
Right.
They want to keep that image. And then when they see their teachers, they'll say, oh, this is a good student from me. So the teachers want to enforce that. So the best thing we could do, we had one guy, he's in college now. Our more success story than I can ever tell you. Two. One graduated and one is in college. Both of them struggled like crazy from when they first met us in fourth and third grade, all the way through almost. All the way through. And I'm telling you, even though I never told them this when they were kids, I was like, they ain't gonna make it because they just don't have it. They just, but we just kept bringing people in their lives, encouraging them, doing things, finding out what they were good at. And I can't one he graduated from college. I said, you never thought you would ever go to college? He said, no, 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 but he made it. And the other guy, he's in college having great grades. And both parents, when they see us, when they went to college, the first thing they do is cry. They never thought they'd even get out of high school.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And one had a father and mom in the house. The other one did not, and was homeless all the time. Always going from one place to the other. So Restore was the grounding, foundation, the solid rock that he needed so he can push through. His brother happened not to stay with us, and he has a whole different outcome.
Yeah.
And we even know kids, like if we track them, the ones who stayed with us, the ones who don't, it doesn't mean that some of the ones who don't stay with us do very successful without us. But a lot who don't stay with us, you can just see that they go right into the negative things that the world and society has. The ones who stay with us, they usually do well. It's just. So my answer to them is that we should get a mentor on before
Yes. You're going to introduce her, Linwood. Hi,
Yes,
Jimena.
Amanda is
Hi.
my yes. Amanda is our program director for Restore, and she is very talented. She is extremely organized, and she is very loving. If I'm the father figure, she is mom. You know, and she's not grandmom yet. Not grandma at all. She's
No,
mom.
not yet.
She's too young. She's too young to be grandma. So I met Amanda. She came to us as the driver for us, and one day I was looking for. I went through a lot of program directors, and so I was looking for somebody, and I had the Restore Banquet, and she said, "Can I help you to organize this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure," because I don't know what I'm doing. And two of my key donors came to me at the banquet and said, "Who helped you plan this?" Because I know it wasn't you, because this is way. I said, "You have some talents, but this is not your thing, Linwood." And I said, "She did." And they said, "You would look for a program director, right?" "Yeah, you got it right there. Just train her and tell her what the Restore way is." And so I gave her the challenge, and she took it, and she's there now. I mean, she is just fantastic, fantastic. You're also going to school now, right, Amanda?
Yes, thank you for the introduction. Thank you so much. And thank you, William, for having me.
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to school. Um, I'm about to get my bachelor's, and in about a year, I will have my master. I didn't get the chance to finish because I got married and I did other things before school. But, I should finish long time ago, but never is too late to do what you want to do in life. And it's one thing that we teach our kids, our restore. We empower them to do good things in life.
Yeah, that's so. What is your area of study that you're going back to school?
Well, I'm doing my bachelor's in business administrations, business science, and the master will be in nonprofit. Uh, so that will be my certification, nonprofit organization. So
Yeah.
that will help with what we do at Restore.
And how long ago did you come to Restore and begin as the driver? And
It's gonna be 9 years when I start Restore. Yeah,
mhm.
I start as a driver and I help in the office sometimes. And from there, I start doing a little bit more each time, get more challenges. And well, I'm here and I'm very happy with what Restore is right now. And I'm very thankful. But Linwood helped me a lot. Is my mentor, I can say.
Yeah.
She
Now,
what she would do, she would see me struggling, and she'll say, "You want me to help you with that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." And found out with the gift that she had, and just say,
yeah,
"Wow," you know.
yeah. And then, what are you the type of person that's don't like asking for help, or
Well, I'm the dreamer. That's
uh-huh.
what I am. I have big ideas. By the time things start, I'm off to my next big idea. So, Amanda is always saying to me, you know, you know, um, slow down. Let's get this done first, and then let's go to the next step. Because in my mind, if the project is done and I'm ready to move on, you know. So she helps my ideas. She puts them into reality, and the team that she has around her, the people. A good example of that is what we're doing this summer. You know, we have planned our summer program. The normal summer program was canceled because we didn't get the funding because of COVID-19. All the funders who normally fund us went in that direction to help
Hmm.
other people out, and they did not fund us, and so we had zero. And then I just started thinking, along with other people, let's reimagine what the summer would be like. And so I got introduced to another organization, and we have a urban poverty virtual summer program. that are addressing the issues that we were talking about: racial disparity, in food insecurity. I can't remember all that stuff. I can't remember all, but all the stuff that the kids are dealing with, we're talking about that and giving them in meeting in small groups, large groups, things like that. So there's my ideas. I shared them with Amena and her team with the help of the other guy who's our consultant, and then they put it together. They put it together. My thing is to get the funding for it, and that's what I concentrated on.
Okay, and you're primarily, I mean, after school, but do you do anything on the weekends? You plan special weekends or anything on the weekends? Are they involved in any particular church, or they go their different ways on weekends?
Yes, I'm a member of active member of a Catholic Church, Blessed Sacrament Catholic Church. So I volunteer and I help there. And every time that they have an event or they need me, I'll be there. I make time to help. I That's something that I have in me, help others. So I will make time to help if someone needs me.
And our young people, they're involved. We have kids coming from mainline denominations like Presbyterian USA, Baptist, Evangelical, or independent churches. We have Muslim students that have been involved with us for the last 2 or 3 years, and kids without any particular faith. So our thing is to get kids involved with the faith of their family. To honor that and help them to be the best Catholic, the best evangelical, the best mainline, or the best Muslim. That's our thing. And so we work with the family to make that happen and to help them in their own way. We do stuff besides the after school program. We go to plays, Paper Mill Playhouse. We go to plays. We go to, help me out a minute. Plays we do. Oh, we do a college when we were meeting before COVID. We do college weekends. Like we spent the whole weekend in PA and visited schools and stuff like that, and so we do stuff. They go on camps, summer camps, Christian camps. We had kids go to art camps, robotic camps. So there's a lot that we do outside of our 3 days a week.
Yeah, I'm gonna before we close, I'm gonna put the webs because you need to go to the Restore website and you'll get a real picture of all the different things that you do. You see the kids at one part you're at a lake or some kind of waterfront place. The kids are swimming, they're doing exercise, they're doing jumping jacks. It looks like they went to a museum at one point, and we've talked about it through the years, different things that you do with the kids. But can you describe just when they come to you after school, like just a typical day, maybe? Either Linwood
That's for a minute to do.
Okay. We start after school finish around 3:30. They will come and someone reading them at the door. At the same time, we will have something to keep track of the projects and homework that the kids have for the day. And then we will have probably half an hour break so they can relax after school, and we have snacks for them. Then we will have a homework center. Homework center is the unique thing Restore does and different other programs. So we dedicate that time to help them. We have people that come to tutoring. So they get the help they need to achieve good grades at school. So that's for an hour. If they need to stay longer, of course, they can stay. And after that, we have group activities so they can play basketball, or we prepare something they suggested. So we do something that they want to as a group.
Yeah.
After that, we will have dinner. So we give them dinner and we pray before dinner and we talk about the day. So we kind of have a conversation about the day, how they went, and all that. So we share that. Um, Also, we have chores. After dinner, we assign, just a few chores, so everyone will help up a little bit. It's nothing heavy, but it's like way to show them that we are a group and we can work together and get everything done. And after that, we will get together and just give them right home. Whoever he needs a ride home, we'll take them home. So basically, that's how a day goes.
Yeah, we have a band to do that. So it's
Mhm,
about 4:30 to 7
to 7.
to 7.
So,
And they want it and they want it to be longer, but 4:30 to 7.
so what you've described to me is so much like family. Number one, you're helping them with homework. You guys eat together, pray together, and you give them chores, which gives them meaning, purpose, belonging. It is definitely a lot like family. I mean, I always approach the chores with my kids like, when they were very young. Grace used to want to help with the dishes when she was 3. I said, "How do you keep this going? How do you keep this?" And then, but it gives them meaning and purpose. Like we can't survive without you. You're part of this. You have a very significant role in this, in doing chores and things like that. It's it's a
Another
good
thing,
picture.
yeah, another thing that we provide is leadership.
Yeah.
That is so key. Leadership. By the time you're in high school, really starts at about 8th grade, and it's because we're a small group. We don't. It's only us two,
Uh-huh.
so we depend on the students to really take on leadership to run the games, to talk to the kids, to have the lead groups.
Hmm.
And we train them. We did a lot of training in the summer. The summer program, the student leaders, they do a fantastic job and really taking over and being in charge. And
Uh-huh.
so if you go through Restore, if you see our graduates, they know how to speak in front of groups. They're
Yes.
confident. They know how to organize. They know how to. They just know how to handle things, and talk to kids. When I go to another church, and it might be like we have an exchange between churches, their youth come to us, we go to them. I just
Hmm.
sit down, and my kids just take over. People like, how do you get them to do that? How do you get them to do that? I said, that's what they understand what it's about, you know.
Right. So you're I like this
And the fact
expression,
that they've been there for so long, they know it.
Right.
They
and
just been
you're
there for
teaching
so long.
them to be receivers and givers, but
And
not
giver,
takers.
yeah,
Receivers and givers,
yeah.
not takers. Yeah, that's
That's
the
right.
gospel
And that's
way.
and that's really important when it comes to, if you want to go back to dealing with racism. What I learned in my community, even though it was racist, when I look back, I see definite things that people did and said,
Yeah,
but I didn't feel that um, that I was powerless. Not with the people I knew. There were certain teachers and all, authority figures, but in general, I didn't feel powerless, and that's what I think that we provide for our young people. That they
right,
don't feel powerless. They can walk through this world. We're helping them to identify racism more and do something about it, but you
right.
don't have to feel powerless. And that's yeah, I'll just say that.
Yeah, you're empowering them and equipping them
And equipping us,
to
you know.
to
And I
to
think that's
overcome,
biblical.
but to make changes at the same
Yeah.
time.
And I think that's biblical. I really do. I think that's biblical. Um,
Yeah,
I encourage the people listening to this, if to look at I think it's Acts chapter 6, 1-7. And there was the Greek speaking church members were complaining to the apostle, to Jewish, predominantly Jewish Christian community, that their widows wasn't getting a fair share of the food when they distributed food to the widows. And the way that the apostles dealt with it was, they say, you guys organize yourselves, you guys pick your leaders, and you guys distribute yourself. They didn't tell them you got to wait. We got to love one another.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, you're making too much of this. You know, they said, you guys do it. They empowered the people who were complaining, Christian people though, and they do pick your leaders. And when I read about that and studied it, they said the leaders were all were Greek names, and one was a Gentile name.
Yeah.
So they just, and you people do you got to go for it. You know, and I think that's what we do at Restore. We're telling them that you have the power to make changes in your life with the gospel, with the Holy Spirit, you know, and with God, and you can really make a difference. And let them see that in little things that they do. You can really make a difference.
Yeah. Stay right there. I want to put this up for everyone because people are asking. I see in the comment section about making donations to Restore. If you go to the website restorekids.org, there is a button on there that it says donate, or you can directly go to restorekids.org /donate. But there is a way that if you go to their website, you can donate. And I'm gonna put this back up on all of our websites for you to go. And this is a ministry, trust me, you can get behind 100%, that is making changes. It is making a difference in kids' lives. And I think it's time for us to put our money where our mouth is. If we love and support one another, to be like that group of Christians in Acts that Linwood was talking about, to come together, support one another, love one another. And this information will be back up there. I'm going to keep the Restore Kids.org donate up there. You can go there, but Linwood and Imana, what else do you need as far as manpower, people that live right there in North Jersey, in that area, as far as, I don't know, muscular Christianity, moving things around, tutoring, donating food, anything, snacks, watermelon.
Yeah. Right now, with COVID-19, we are meeting virtually. So hopefully when schools get started and school get back, then we'll acclimate and get back to things. Right. Normally, we always need people to help us out with tutoring, with just being there with kids, just sitting with them, talking to them. And when we do our trips, we had a couple of volunteers who were the trip people. They would be my second person. We like to have two people on the trip. Just in case I get hit, I get hurt, someone else is there. You know what I mean? It's already good, and not be one person driving and that's it. So just another person right there. We do need people to help us with like real practical things like the website and gifts in that way. But the tutoring is what we're hoping to do, and Amanda can tell you more about it, is that because we're online, we're getting people that's not just from Elizabeth. We got a family from Virginia that came on board. We got my family in South Jersey that came on board, and they're already saying, I'm gonna get my friends, and I'm gonna let my friends know about this. So I can see us going into different rooms and having small group that's going to be really important as we expand and go further. And even when we come back to the building, we're still going to do something with small groups and something, so small group leaders. I can see that happening more so than we ever had before. What about you, Amanda?
Yes, it's very important that we have a network right now with kids, and I see how they react. The kids from Virginia, they so engaged. Kids from South Jersey, and we have some people from Florida. They couldn't join us, but I know for in September they will be with us. So we open our doors to more people from all around the world. I mean, why not?
So even our volunteers can be from all around too. Yes, that's the point I'm making. You
Yes,
know,
everyone
so
to help us.
whoever listens, if you're in Florida or somewhere else, and give us time to figure this out, because we're all doing this, this COVID-19. But there'll be space for people to help us out in ways that we never thought possible.
That's true. Now that now you have a group of church family and folks down here in Florida that know about you. Will be praying, and I know some people are anxious to donate. And I don't know if you ever need any tutoring. I guess I can do it through Zoom for you guys.
That'll
Yeah.
be me.
But I mean, this is
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things, and I know that a lot of places took a hit with COVID, but I saw a lot of other doors open as well. I don't even know if we would be doing this, Linwood, if it wasn't for
Right.
our ministry starting to do more, like figuring out that, hey, we're going to go online, because there was a big movement before COVID of people leaving the traditional church. There's this kind of transition going on. Where they're going to wind up, I don't know. But while they're moving, you can minister and talk to people, online and use it as a positive thing and not a polarizing thing. So I can't thank you guys enough for joining us. And I hope the people that usually tune in to us got to know you and got a hold of your vision, because it's something that I think I love. The idea of community. I love the idea of family. I think that's the true model of a church is a community, a family. And the other question that I wanted to ask: do parents get involved, and does it ever overlap to where you actually help the parents with some of the interpersonal problems and stuff?
Well, we are always open to help them, and I think what is important is the relationship that we have with parents, with the families, especially now in these difficult times. We found a way to get in touch, be there for them, say, ask how they are doing, if they need something. And so with that, I think we have the trust to come to us and ask for help in certain situations that they can have. So I can say that the relationship we have with parents is really, really good. And
Yeah, we can't do what we do unless the parents trust us and work with us.
Right.
So and what we're trying to do with parents in some ways is helping them to be better advocates for their children at school. Especially the parents who are coming from, I want to make sure I say this right, from the Latin American communities. It's like, because I work in the school system, so it's like whatever you say, you're the authority, and so it's when to more empower parents, get them to vocalize, to say what they have to say, let them know they're a part of the team, and to push them in that direction. Say, come on, you can do it, and then they come back and let us know how it went, and sometimes it's exciting, they got received really well and things like that. So we're trying to help the parents in that way. We also give them all the stuff that we have, like, something comes our way, jobs. Like one of our partners is New Jersey Port Authority, so they always doing jobs training, job interviews. We get that to all the parents. Here's what's happening in the community, and things like that. So whatever our network is, our network and the people and the organizations, we funnel that through Imena, and she goes to the parents, and we have that group, text or email, let them know what's happening in the community and what the resources are, so they can find jobs and they can, things like that.
Now, Linwood, there's a place where they could email you or contact you off the Restore page as well, Imena?
Yes, they can go to restore 1161 at gmail.com.
Okay. And is there a link, like a contact on the Restore page, like contact us?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, there is. Yes, there.
Oh yeah, I see it. I just
contact us through there.
Yeah.
So if if you're listening, you want to get in touch, and it doesn't matter, like Jimena pointed out that now people, because of the internet all over the world, can get involved. Just contact them and begin it's all about relationship. Begin a relationship, begin a dialogue of how we can help and how we can all pull together. Because, the young kids, they're going to be taking care of us when we're old. They're going to be the leaders of the future, and
the workers. And the workers.
Yeah, all too often we think, well, they go to school and that's all they need. We train them, they graduate, and they go off into the world. No, we're training and teaching our young people to be responsible, that we're all in this together, that there's a universe of people, but even in your small community of people that you're responsible for. We're responsible for one another. We live in a free country, but with freedom comes responsibility. Paul said, don't use your freedom as a cover up for evil, but rather serve one another in love. So let's be responsible with our freedom, love one another, support one another. And I was so happy, Linwood and Jimena, for you to come and join us, to have you come and to have you on the show. And hopefully maybe we'll check in with you in a few months and have you on again. This doesn't have to be a one-time thing.
That'd be great.
That'd be really great.
Especially, because we are figuring this out, the new way of doing ministry. So it'd be nice to see how it works and see what's happening.
Yeah. Let them see your face and smiling. And so thank you again.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch with you, and I'm sure you're going to make some new friends and relationships through that. And I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about all the possibilities that are out there. You never know what God's going to do just with our conversation tonight, because we have a God that loves us, that cares for us, and is going to.
I know people like to be anonymous at times, but if they could find a way to let us know that this is where they could connect it with us, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. So if they can just from Florida or the website or whatever, so they can, if they don't feel comfortable giving the names and all on the website, you can do anonymous, but let us know where you connected with us, and that'll be great. That'll be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you again for joining us. Remember, God's grace is sufficient. His power is made perfect in weakness, and nothing can separate us from the love of God in Christ Jesus. You all have a good